This is the One Up Network Radio, and you're listening to One Up Yours, the podcast. It's Garnet Lee, your host, and I am so glad to be back, guys.
Garnet's back.
Yay!
Thank God.
You know, no, yeah, it's really nice you guys dig it, but you know what the best part is? I totally love doing this show. This is like the best part of the job, totally. You know, people always ask you, like, what's the best part of the job? Like, when you do that, is it playing it? No, this right here, right now, this is the best part of the job.
Aww.
No, I mean, it's, whatever.
That's very sweet.
Anyway, so let's see. What are we
How's
into
your
today?
plane ride?
Oh, dude, don't even go there. You don't want to go down. Shane, I had such a moment. So I went to Oklahoma, right? And I'm like flying back from Oklahoma, and I had like the worst redneck experience with these people.
Why do you talk to me when you say that?
Because you're from Kentucky, dude. Obviously.
Because you would totally appreciate the
I
fact
probably
that.
would, yeah.
So like sitting in front of me is this elderly couple.
Wait, that was John opening a beer without talking.
That was a good time for a beer.
Oh, is that what it said?
Yeah, something like that.
Continue your story.
Anyway, it's a really dumb story, but suffice to say, there are still a lot of redneck freaking white trash people out there in the world, and they ride on
is
airplanes.
I was gonna say, and they're finding a way onto planes.
Yeah.
Were you flying Southwest?
No, I was on United.
Wow.
I know. I was like, what the hell
Is that the aircraft of the
Someone should speak to the
aristocracy?
management.
Get this riffraff off my plane.
This elderly lady in the same sentence talks about how great it was that she had helped her church get more desegregated by having the folks over at the black church come down and sing on Sunday nights at supper. I got, dude, it was everything I could do not to strangle her. I was like, you racist. Oh, anyway.
Well, you know, you're
Old fucking trip.
You people and your short-sighted regionalist views.
You people, dude.
I don't want to talk about it.
Anyway, that's why I didn't want to go into it, because it really, I was so mad. Suzanne was like, she's like, no, you cannot come across the chairs at these people. You'll go to federal prison.
The calming voice of reason,
Wow.
Suzanne.
Well, this is fun.
So what are we doing?
So anyway, everybody say hey. So anyway, the crew's all
What are we
here.
here for?
Crew's here. Say hey, guys.
Hey, guys.
We have John Davison.
John Davison.
We have Luke Smith.
And we have Shane Bettenhausen.
You know, Luke
Executive
Smith is
editor
kind of like,
EGM.
you know, I just realized that he's kind of like Sideshow Luke Smith.
Because he's all hairy.
He's very hairy.
He
right
is
now.
kind of, yeah, he's kind of
Ladies,
doing this hairy thing.
Luke Smith will be turning the astute beard into a very sexy porn mustache in the very near future.
Don't hype it up yet.
That thing is gonna tickle good.
It's like walking back from the bistro the other day.
Well, you know, it helps us. We have a lot of fans in like the bear and the furry community. And Luke's,
Oh
Look
God!
at him. I mean, that's an impressive set that he has right now. And when that turns into a handlebar,
Oh, don't worry, Skip. We're going to get to the rundown. We're just at the promo right now.
Skip's-
This is the prelude to
Skip's so
hell.
anal. He's like, get with the program.
people are going to listen to this and wonder what it's about.
They're all tuning out right now.
Yeah, there's
I'm back in charge now, and we're
We're
going
sorry.
crazy balls out. All right.
You want your what?
We know it's officially summer now.
Balls
The
out?
summer solstice was the other day, so yeah, it's fun in the summer. A little bit loose, crazy around here.
All right, so this is Friday, June 23rd, 2006. The One Up Yours rundown is like this. Intros, what you've been playing. We're going to do reader mail. We're going to talk about our pile of shame. Psychonauts, we've all actually started to play it now.
Yeah, a couple of people mentioned that we sort of shuffled uncomfortably and stared at our feet last week, and yeah. We did.
Yeah.
Although to be fair, we didn't have many copies.
Not everyone had it.
I would
everyone
say,
had a
yeah, that hasn't been very fair,
We weren't very prepared. You haven't played this week either, have you?
dude. The WoW pack.
All right, we'll hammer him onto that in a minute. Second segment today, we've got Chris Reinhardt from Human Head. He's programmer and co-founder of them. They've just wrapped up Prey, and we got him up here in the studio. He talked with me and Luke for a little while this morning.
Does he talk about why the 360 demo is not ready yet?
They don't have. No, that was the first thing I asked them.
so
I hounded
hilarious.
them all morning about it while they were here.
It's
Like,
all Microsoft, right?
It is, yeah. So, like, we're sitting here, and Marcy Ditter from 2K is, like, right there, and she's, like, banging on her BlackBerry, like, what the hell? They're like, what? She's like, we still don't know why it's not ready.
and then she asked me, she was like, if we find out why it's not ready and we tell you, will you not tell everyone? Like, Marcy,
Then why would you tell us?
have you worked with media before? Like, and Garnett's like, yeah, and looks at me like, you know, just like, yeah,
Giving you-
yeah, right.
Just tell her, we'll get it on, right? Anyway, and then in the final group, we'll have our news segment. We got, man, Luke has been, like, in my office 2 times already this week, like, with, oh, I can't wait to talk about this. So,
I'm so pissed.
so yeah, we got plenty to get rolling with. So, Luke, what you been playing instead of Psychonauts?
Why do you skip John? What John chopped
Because he
liver?
looked like the first guy I need to go to. Plus, I would see if he could get him to spew beer while he was drinking.
Oh, okay.
No, I swallow.
Oh dear.
Well, the Wild
It's
Patch.
okay, Skip. Don't worry. This won't reflect on you at all.
It might spray on you, though.
even if you are good friends and
Yeah.
have dinner plans.
No more beer.
Anyway,
I've been playing World of Warcraft. The 1.1 patch came out this week. Yeah.
Wow.
The 1.1
Tell me all
patch.
about it. I wonder what that game is like.
So yeah, that's absorbed too much of my time.
Let's
this
move.
week.
Let's move on.
And then last weekend, actually, I played a new game that I hadn't played in a long
Called
time. Called Real Life. Real Life Canoeing.
Ah.
It's called like boss everybody around with a little whistle.
does it come with a special controller?
Why did you take a whistle canoeing?
Here's the thing: I was in the car with Sam Kennedy, the EIC, and his wife drove me and Jason Bertrand out to canoe. And so the four of us were like in one car. And I pulled out the canoe and I was like, I'm prepared because I'm an Eagle Scout. And they taught you in Boy Scouts to make sure you had a whistle in case you got separated or needed to have people regroup. And Sam and Christine look at me. And you've seen Sam. Like, Sam's like this J. Crew, like, steps from the pages of J. Crew. And is, like, walks around with his awesome, hella expensive Tons jeans. And he's like, you're going to have cell phones. You can just call.
Sam was very unprepared.
So we de-automobile and walk down to the beach. And I'm like, how's that cell phone work? He's like, dude, no signal out here. Like, yeah, well, do you have a whistle?
No, but like he was whistling. He was like had different whistles that meant different things. He was like telling us to get back in the boats. Other canoers.
Wait. He had whistles that mean things?
Yeah, he like two shorts and a long. Anyway, other canoers
Yeah,
were
that's right.
laughing. Other canoers were laughing. You may not have seen it. They'd pass us and laugh.
Yeah, of course they did. If they obviously see no irony. There must be like people on
course, it was-
on
it was the
planes from
irony.
Oklahoma.
But, okay, next canoe trip, you're all coming. It's gonna be fun. We should podcast live from the canoe.
It was the irony. It was the irony they were laughing at.
It was
So you've,
Well, it's like-
you've not actually played anything, is what you're saying, right?
more or less. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, canoeing.
Great, you're going to be a lot of good today.
All right, that's real helpful. So, Shane, what'd you play?
Well, the usual. Soul Calibur 3, Street Fighter Alpha 2. I've also been playing Guitar Hero 2, which I'm really, really bad at. Luckily, Skip is awesome at it, so I just watch him play sometimes.
Yeah, the songs. 5 songs for an E3 demo, and they're all hard as hell.
You know what I was really impressed by, though? Like, when I first saw those songs, it's like, I don't really know these, but they're really good for the guitar and bass. Like, the interplay between the guitar parts and the bass part is really impressive on all those songs.
I like Strutter because it has the rhythm guitar, which is really cool. So,
I'm impressed.
cool.
There you go. Good stuff.
John, what have you been up to?
I've been reviewing, what's it called?
What is it? It's
It's a soccer
memorable.
Memorable and awesome.
World Tour Soccer 2006 on the PSP.
Tell us all about that one, John.
Can US
It's-
win a game there?
It's it's interesting actually because it's sort of the opposite of winning 11-9, which could be interpreted as not being very good, but it's all right. And then a sort of a gateway soccer drug. It's all right. It doesn't try to be a simulation. It's very arcadey and it's all challenge based and
How the load times?
awful.
As expected.
Not as bad as winning 11-9 was on PSP, but still pretty bad. And since I got my DS Lite, I can't put that thing down.
What are you playing on that?
Anything. I even played Pokemon Trozei for a why the other day.
Oh, today I tried.
Wow.
Today I tried Break 'Em All, which I thought was a really funny name for a game. Break 'Em All. It's like a Breakout clone for DS.
Really?
It's all right.
I'm just enamored with the DS right now.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
It's hard not to be as sexy as it looks.
I'm just gonna throw this out here. This is the wrong time, but I saw this great statistic yesterday. You know that in Japan, the DS has sold more units than PSP has sold in the entire world. Just put that out there.
Wow.
People say Japan don't matter. I think you might be wrong.
I'm not surprised because while I was traveling, I took both of them with me. I mean, the PSP, I just don't understand. It's like I played 3 games on it.
And the DS Lite lasts forever on a charge.
Unless you put on the highest brightness, then the highest
Really?
brightness eats it up. But it's so bright, you need to be in a cave or something.
Even my
I was
original.
listening to you, Garnet.
About what?
When you were talking and interrupted, I was listening.
Oh, it's all right, baby. It's all right.
What?
We already know I mean, there's no reason to even really go into it. We all know the PSP just doesn't work right now for games. I took Need for Speed with me. I'm like, okay, that's right. The nub doesn't work well for control. It's in the wrong spot. I took the X-Men 2 game with me. I'm like, yeah.
we don't hate PSP.
I don't hate PSP.
Oh yeah, that wasn't great, was it?
Well, the
It's a perfect home console port to the little screen.
Why would you play any home game on the PSP?
Exactly.
That's the question.
That's exactly it.
When there's a better version at home.
And then what was the third game I took? I was telling Skip about it.
Loco Roco's out in Europe. It's cool.
Do you remember what the third game was that I took? I don't even remember what it was. It was so bad.
You're asking Skip what
Virtua
you took
Tennis.
on your trip?
Virtua Tennis, which was fun for 5
not
minutes.
so bad.
It was great while I was playing Virtua Tennis, but then like the create a character mode it's so slow and painstaking that, like, in the 2-hour flight from Denver to Oklahoma City, I had not even played a game of tennis yet.
That doesn't surprise me.
Like,
No.
yeah, because you have to do all these little mini games to build your guy up so he can play tennis. And so
Oh
I'm
my
playing
God.
mini game after mini game after mini game again. When the hell do I get to play
What's that
some
called?
tennis?
A bad
Bullshit.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yes.
a bad design.
Total
choice.
bullshit.
Oof.
Good job, Sega. Nice.
Did play some Super Mario Brothers
That's
on my light.
I still don't have a copy.
It's fun on great for an airplane.
You know,
Yeah, it was perfect.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
totally burned out my battery just playing it. It's awesome.
Skip hates that game.
I don't
Well,
hate it.
He doesn't hate it. He's just not satisfied with it.
He says 7.
Really?
I say between a 7 and an 8.
Super Mario?
I think your expectations were out of whack.
Well, you gave it a 9.5, didn't you?
You gave it a 10.
Yeah, that's wrong.
Yeah, so what
Like
Skip's
your
hollering
score
back
was
there,
wrong?
No, shoe score was wrong.
what Skip's hollering back there is that Shu gave it a 10. I wouldn't give it that high. You know, here's my thing is that one of the things I don't like is that if you, like, so say you pass level 3-1, if you die on 3-2, then when you come back to it, you have to go back through 3-1 again.
You know what I like about Super Mario?
I don't want to have to do that.
You know what's interesting about New Super Mario Brothers? It's like ubiquitous. It's like Halo. It is. It's like a game that, like,
I'm sorry, could you spell that for me?
I could. This isn't a spelling bee, but it is ubiquitous. And everybody's buying it. Everybody's playing it. It doesn't matter if Skip thinks it's a 7. It's like the best-selling game of all time. So
There it is.
You're wrong, Skip.
it's not going anywhere.
I don't want it to go anywhere.
In other news, Thriller is the best record of all time.
Thriller's pretty.
Followed closely by the Eagles' greatest hits.
Those are both good records, actually.
And Dark Side of the Moon.
Dark Side of the
Dark
Moon.
Side of the Moon.
also up there.
Comes
Yeah.
alive.
Frampton's got, that one, collected a lot.
Playing
of
up at the
really,
winery. We should go.
have you seen him, man? He's like got all his hair cut off. He looks really bizarre.
Let's move on.
We really are drifting off topic today, aren't we?
It's all right.
Frampton, when Frampton comes alive, dude,
Yeah.
I felt like I was there.
I know it's out. So I guess we should talk about Psychonauts.
We should.
since we've actually
Who'd
started.
like to start? Luke, why don't you start?
You know, actually, since we're hopefully looks like we're going to get Tim Schafer to come in and have a full like Psychonauts discussion
Totally looking forward to that.
when we're all said and done. I mean, we're not that far into it. I don't think we should like go too deep.
No.
No.
No
But I do think that
initial impressions.
that Luke should talk
Luke,
about
so Luke.
should talk about his experience with Psychonauts.
Luke, how do you feel about the writing?
Yeah, what do you think of it? What's your initial?
What's your favorite
impression?
What's your favorite character? At the
I was really I was really glad that the instruction manual had a notes.
Did you write some notes in there?
Yeah, play me. Play me soon.
Maybe
Well,
not, maybe
I mean-
cut back on the WoW a
A
little.
real big, like because I have to reset up my Xbox now. And, like,
And that thing is big.
Wow, dude, he does whiny girl really
yeah,
well.
and it's
I have to set up my Xbox.
It's hard.
And Damien's always using the big TV.
I had
It's
to
his house.
I
and
had to
his
wash
TV.
my. I was gonna play, but I had to wash my beard.
I think he actually trimmed that thing a little bit too.
No, I haven't.
No?
So you didn't
Yeah.
play any Psychonauts?
No, I didn't play any Psychonauts.
All right, so
Did you
Shane,
play
did you
any
get into it?
Psychonauts?
Yeah, see, fucking welcome to the club.
I have played Psychonauts.
He's
But not in the last
And?
week.
Not in the last week. We're on deadline. We just finished.
Oh, hold on.
This weekend.
oh, yeah, I have a deadline every day.
This weekend is all about Psychonauts and Radiohead.
Garnet.
In that order.
Did you play any Psychonauts?
Yes, I did actually get
Shall we
my.
talk about
Yeah,
Psychonauts,
I think we
Garnet?
should. So I got my. I hooked my Xbox up. Wow, it was very
That's pretty
challenging.
hard, dude.
I plugged the
How
cables.
many cords did it have in the back that you have to connect?
I mean, I don't know. I
what?
lost count.
2.
I lost count. There were so many.
Two cords.
Laugh it up.
There was cables everywhere, but eventually it started running.
You're
I
not
was-
talking about the game either. You fucking no one. You motherfuckers played the shit and no one said anything about it.
All right, so you know what I really dug? First thing I dug was that like when I pressed the start button, instead of having like a bunch of menus, I was running around on top of the brain.
I like that too.
That was really cool because like the whole game is
It's
polished.
going to be in depth of the first 30 seconds of the game.
that fucking menu screen is dope.
Yeah, rocks, man.
The pile of
And
shame
then-
names
and
is
then-
getting more and more applicable.
And then when it said loading,
Does this computer over here have Warcraft installed?
No, it doesn't.
No.
How far have you gotten? Seriously.
About an hour in. Like I played.
Did you finish the tutorial, the war level?
I finished the basic tutorial, but I haven't gone and done the advanced tutorial guy. Who's like,
Further than you.
surprise! I played like an hour.
Just putting it up there.
But so like first impression is I want to talk about is that I liked that because it like is indicative to me of how much polish there is in like the whole experience of making it this cool immersive thing, like not no synthetic crap. What were you doing to that bottle? Are you practicing?
Yeah, Luke, what are you doing, dude? That's
Don't you fucking try and pin that on
Don't
me.
deep throat it.
As everyone looks at you as you start
Yeah.
making queer noises on your Corona bottle. Like, God.
I looked over there. I couldn't tell if it was a long neck or not. I have to.
Skip looks despondent.
This isn't what he wanted out of this podcast.
Last
Anyway.
week it was the intelligent discourse on the state of reviewing, and
And this week it's
this week
dog
is
shit.
Shane deep throating a beer bottle.
No such thing.
He can take it far though, kids.
Psychonauts.
So
I think Tim would approve of this conversation.
Tim would approve. Yeah, I think so actually. So it's very cool that it's also packaged up that they're very much into that whole experience. That the synthetic parts, like having menus and all that kind of stuff, is all keeping you in character. The other thing that I noticed right off the bat is how awesome it looks. And I'm not even running it like through the HDF feed on my TV. I'm actually just running on S. And I'm looking at this game. I'm going, why did I need a next gen console again? Because it looks fantastic.
Well, the art style is really interesting,
Yeah,
and
the
I
art's
mean, there's I can't remember the name of the artist, but I mean, it is very distinctive. Like Rasputin's face and the way that the sort of the big heads and the weird. Some characters look better than others. I can't remember the names of all the characters. Like I don't like the guy with the big red mop and the crazy teeth. I think it takes it a bit far.
The bully.
But
Yeah,
the
the
sort of
bully
the
character.
really stylized, kind of detailed face on a cartoon body, I think, is really interesting. But what I think is really interesting about this game that you don't see in many other places is they obviously sat down and really thought about the imagery and the metaphors that they want to get across. And there's the sort of brutally obvious stuff like the emotional baggage, which is like, duh.
Obvious.
But then you get further into it and the way that it sort of messes with the environment and the things that are
subtle.
sort of little subtle points that this isn't a real world environment. This is in someone's mind. And the way that, like, I really love the thing in the tutorial. I mean, not to just dwell on the beginning of the game, but I loved when you walk into what you think is like a crashed plane, and it immediately turns into a plane that's in midair as you're jumping out of it. And those little transitions, they're quite cinematic and they're really cleverly done. And the further you go, the cleverer that stuff gets. And then it starts messing with the sound, like things that it does, or, like, with the effects and like sort of weird stereo effects on the extreme levels. And I think it's...
And I think the graphics are actually kind of inconsistent. Like, it doesn't start out looking that great, but some of the later levels that I've seen, like the Black Velvet, there's like a level that looks like Black Velvet paintings and look amazing.
Well, see, I think it looks very excellent. Not only does it look good, and not only is the art style really good, but this is a game where the polygon edges are not pronounced. There's no weird shimmering around them. There's no bad tears. There's no uncomfortable joins. It's very... So you don't lose your immersion because of any problems in the scenery either. I like that.
The other thing that's surprising about that game is I thought it would be weirder than it is. It's kind of a regular platformer.
It's very...
Yeah,
that's,
you
that
are
was-
like, you're double jumping, you're collecting stuff. It's kind of like Mario, and like that's on purpose. Like, Tim Schafer's a huge fan of Super Mario 64, and it's obvious and it's good.
Right, because it even has the Mario jump and punch down, which is cool. And that's why I told Skip, I was like, wow, I had no idea that this was just a regular platformer, because I'd heard, all the talk about how cool it was, how imaginative it was, and I was like, oh, okay, so it's all that, but it's a platformer.
Right.
That was kind of cool. The music is awesome, by the way. The music is really good, too.
In that tutorial part.
At least, yeah. And I liked, like what John was talking about, the scapes. One of the things I thought was cool about the Mindscapes is that, so you're going through like that tutorial section, right? And I liked how it had like the little video screens that would come up with him talking to you, and like you really had this imagery. It very much felt like you were inside a very Freudian kind of weird imagined landscape. It was really cool. Props to that. Great first impression.
When are we getting Tim in?
I told him in about 2 weeks. We'll figure it out, but it sounds like he's up for it and he's very excited. He's a cool guy. It's gonna be fun. Yeah.
So yeah, very positive first impression. I love style. I love story. Love all that stuff. So yeah, I'm very excited now.
And there's a lot of stuff on the boards, people talking about it, which is great.
So yeah.
A lot of people that have had time to play it.
So
And so
first
if you haven't
impression-
started yet, you can play through it with me.
Play with Luke.
All right, that was a real opener. So what do we got for reader mail, John?
What do we have? Well, question of the week last week was, what game would you like to see remade? Because we talked a little bit about that last week. Beige, as ever. Thank you, Beige, for a lengthy,
Well thought out.
well thought out response. He mentioned ActRaiser as something that he would like to see remade. I can see that. He also mentioned an very old text adventure. So this is you showing your age, Beige. A Mind Forever Voyaging.
Is that that was the Harlan Ellison one, isn't it?
I believe so. I did
Wow.
actually print out.
Sorry, it's an old guy thing.
It is-
I've read some Harlan Ellison. He's
Harlan,
old.
very cool guy.
He is. Yeah, I've never even heard of that text venture. And I know my text ventures. I know like Wishbringer, and I don't know this one.
It wasn't a. It was not an Infocom game, I believe. So what did he say? Let me read from his thing.
Obscure.
It was not. It definitely wasn't. So what are the games?
He liked the killer premise. So he was talking about how it was like playing a good book, and the way that it just sort of messed with your perceptions, and the story sort of altered over time. He'd also mentioned Paradroid, an old Commodore 64 game, which I really liked, but I guess a lot of people never really played over here. I think there was an
Sounds
NES
kind of
version.
Euro.
It was by the same guys that did Uridium, which was like a really famous shooter. This was sort of a more
The Bitmap Brothers or something?
same era, but not that game. What else do we have? Lightbulb Socket thinks that Resident Evil 2 and 3 redone RE4 style. I can see
2, 3. Yeah,
maybe not 3. And then something that I definitely agree with. Sure, OK suggested a remake of Grim Fandango.
You think it's already deserving?
Maybe just sort of zazzed up, and I mean, he didn't really go into any detail.
We should ask Tim about that.
Yeah, I'm sort of projecting here, but I would like to see it brought out on because it would lend itself to console play, I think, and updated a little. And
I think that world, those characters, that style in like a new game with
and it was a little ahead of its time. It tried a lot of different ideas at once, and I think that scared people off. And I think people are more open to some of the concepts now.
So you guys already threw out some I probably missed. What games did you guys want remade?
Did we talk about any last week?
No, we didn't really talk about any. I think I beat on it already. Like, I really want to see a new Bionic Commando. Like, I really would like to see a new Bionic
There was
Commando.
some commentary on that. Some people said, why do Bionic Commando? It's already pretty much perfect.
It's obscure.
What would you say to that?
The majority of gamers don't even know what it is now, so it's new to 90% of gamers now. That's what I would say to that.
I would just quote what Shane said.
But apparently it's gotten pretty close to being done a few times. Capcom knows that people want it, but it's harder to do than you think.
So, I kind of have to be a dick about this whole thing is that, I don't know about having all these remakes. I'd rather the people who can make quality games be concentrating on making us new experiences and let the old experiences just kind of have their place. And the industry is too young for us to worry about all these remakes. Why are we worried about remaking all this shit?
Remakes are like guaranteed money. So as a business model, like remaking stuff that
you
people
take your
want.
business thing and push that on Business Week or whatever. This is games that we're talking about.
But the reality is that the business part of games is a huge part of it. It's critical.
Okay,
a
but
lot
we're
of
just
people had said that they didn't think stuff needed to be remade. So I mean, there was a split. There was people that were like, absolutely not. I don't want to. I don't want anything. And then other people were just full of great ideas.
The way
Knights came up a lot.
The way I see it is, I'd rather have a remake than a port. And if you're going to put something on PSP that's like a PS1 game, remake it.
You know what? So like one thing that just came to mind though that would be kind of cool. I wouldn't mind seeing what they could do with Out of This World. That could be kind of cool.
It would work on a handheld. I mean, that would be more a port, I guess, for a handheld. I mean, if they remade it, they'd probably have to go 3D with it because I don't think anyone would really. I mean, who really has the guts to go hardcore 2D these days on a platform that's not handheld?
No, but I mean, if you're going to do so, I guess that's the other question. If you're talking about like remaking games, are you talking about just re-imaging them, or are you talking about totally reimagining them like as a step forward into like a modern game?
I think we were kind of talking reimagining them. Killer Instinct came up from quite a few people.
Please no.
No.
Killer Instinct is garbage.
Especially given Rare's track record lately, I can't imagine what they do to that.
And they'd make another terrible, shitty fighting game.
With furry creatures and pinatas.
With embarrassing character designs that look terrible.
can see the big bluey furry clawed gorilla thing.
That's Saberwolf.
Yeah.
Beloved character in Europe.
Swatting at pinatas. Very few people know about the Great Pinata Festival of London.
Let's be nice.
You don't know about that one?
I can't tell if we're being serious or not.
No, we're not.
So what other good stuff there do we have? Any other good stuff there, or are we going to head this thing out?
Master Blaster came up.
That's called Blaster Master.
Blaster Master. That game's all right.
They made a 3D reimagined sequel on PS1. Not so good.
Mm-hmm.
That'd die.
River City Ransom.
You know what I'd like to see?
That's it.
I've got one.
We're going to remake that one.
X-Wing versus TIE Fighter. Now.
You know what?
Do it, bitches.
Yeah.
You know, something tells me, Luke, your dream of another Star Wars space fighting game might... It's kind of crazy. They might make another Star Wars game.
But, like, could you tell me the one that they've done since that has the cockpit camera with, like, flight simulator elements mixed in?
Well, you know, no one's doing that anymore. That market has totally died.
What are those guys doing now? The Totally Games guys.
No clue.
Because they did that kind of Secret Weapons update a few years ago.
And landed like a lead balloon.
And they've not really done anything since.
Because no one wants to play those flight
Larry Holland,
flight
right?
sims.
I remember liking Colony Wars on PS1.
Colony Wars was really good.
If you like that genre, Warhawk on the PS3. There you go.
Oh, my brain just locked up. But what was the one Polyphony did? Omega Boost. Oh god, the game was awesome.
But that was more.
I know. I know. I'm going a little bit of field. It was more mechy like out there.
Zone of the
Yeah.
Enders.
Zone of the Enders,
Zone of
but
the
it was
Enders
really
kind of
awesome.
Oh God, overrated.
Really? Did you play Omega Boost?
No, Zone of the Enders.
Oh.
I was thinking Zone of the Enders too. Yeah,
Whoa, did you just slam Zoe?
Yeah. I totally
Wow, dude,
think
you're
that game's
nuts.
Overrated.
No, you're totally wrong on this.
You don't like Mario Brothers. Your opinion doesn't count.
7's a good score.
No, I don't like Zone of the Enders.
Why do you not like Zone of the Enders?
People always talk about how pretty it is, and maybe it could just be my PS2's different.
It was pretty at the time.
Your PS2 is different. You have the Microsoft version.
It
No,
was-
but it's like on my PS2, it sputters a
Luke,
lot.
what-
the frame rate sucks.
what Zone of the Enders 1 was the first good-looking PS2 game.
It was gorgeous.
It was
I didn't play
gorgeous.
the first one. I only played the second one.
All
It
right.
was very short though.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff
Not
I
short
remember really
enough.
fondly is like really old stuff. Like Atari like revisited Star Raiders a number of times, but
So-
never did it justice.
I thought Solaris was better than Star Raiders.
Right, and they kind of revisited it that way, and they also revisited it as they remade it as the last Starfighter game,
Right.
which they hardly did anything to. They changed some of the art, and that was it. But it was like it had the potential. I'd like to see them go back and redo Elite properly.
Oh, that would be awesome. Totally played the hell out of that game. If you want to play a game like that, what you should do is you should go to the Babylon 5 project and check out that game because
That was a weird sound.
Yeah, it was. You know what game I want remade?
I'm just saying,
Zelda
you
2.
get the PC to
right
play
there.
it.
What? It's perfect.
I know it's perfect, but nobody likes it.
What?
It's reviled and it's awesome and it deserves.
It's the king of Zelda.
Do we agree on something?
It's the crown jewel in Zelda's
Do
corset.
you and I agree on this?
Why did you point at your crotch when you
Because
said that?
I was doing the corset, the thing.
That's not where you wear a corset, Luke.
Really?
He was thinking of a chastity belt.
Yeah, I was
God.
actually. That's what I was thinking of.
I think yeah. Skip. Is
I'm getting the
very
impression
upset.
that Skip would like us to wrap this section up.
So if you're under 18 and don't know any of the games that we just talked about, listen to the next segment because it'll be interesting.
All right, yeah. So we're going to get into Prey with Chris Reinhardt. He's going to tell us a lot about, something else that they worked on that totally blew my mind when he was like,
That's
oh, yeah, we worked on
ridiculous.
this. And I was like, what? And, after that, while we're walking out, he's like, dude, I didn't get a chance to tell you, but the other game we worked on was Unreal 2. And I'm like, you worked on Unreal 2 for a while? He's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, we worked on Unreal 2. So after we had worked on the game that you'll hear in a minute, and it's shameless, isn't it? It's like we had wall walk in that game. We had wall walk in Unreal 2. And he's like, we got to Prey. We're like, God damn it, we're putting wall walk in this fucking game.
So it's there, but not on Xbox Live. So,
Yeah, hopefully it is by now. Is it there yet?
No.
Yeah, so hopefully by the time you're listening to this, you'll be able to play some Prey. If not, at least you'll be able to listen to Chris in just a minute, and we'll be back.
You're listening to One Up Yours on the One Up Radio Network.
One Up Network Radio is being brought to you by And One Street Ball, the only authentic street ball game featuring the full roster of And One Mixtape Tour players. That's guys like Hot Sauce, Helicopter, and The Professor. It's available for PlayStation 2 and Xbox for $39.99 on Tuesday, June 6th at your favorite online and real-world stores. And One Street Ball is rated E10 for everyone 10 and up.
Listen to EGM Live to hear Electronic Gaming Monthly editors take you beyond the pages of the magazine.
Extended impressions of the hottest games.
Shocking celebrity guest stars.
Exterminate all man-animals at will!
And the newest video game soundtracks.
That's EGM Live, available at egmlive.oneup.com or the iTunes Music Store.
All right, everyone, we're joined by Chris Reinhardt of Human Head, and these are the guys that had the balls to go out and, when no one else wanted to touch it, do Prey. That's amazing, dude. So, I haven't said it before. We've visited before. I got to tell you, that's the most impressive part to me is that you walked into your studio that you helped co-found and said, hey, guys, guess what? We're going to do Prey.
Well, it was pretty interesting. I mean, the history with that was we finished up Rune, and we were looking for our next project. And, we didn't know how Rune was going to sell or anything like that, so we didn't really have Rune 2 immediately on the horizon. And George at 3D Realms liked the game a lot, and so he was like, we should work on something. So we kind of bounced ideas around, then he mentioned Prey. And honestly, our first reaction was like,
No
whoa,
way.
isn't
Oh,
that
dude,
thing
come
still
on.
being secretly developed somewhere? I mean, because they never actually officially said, it is dead. So we thought maybe, it was secretly being developed somewhere, but no. So when they mentioned it, we're like, yeah, that actually sounds kind of interesting. There's a lot of sci-fi things we wanted to do. So
get out and do something different.
Yeah.
But dude, still, it had to be pretty crazy when you walked into the studio. Come on, there had to be someone that looked at you like, "What the hell were you drinking?"
There were a few things like that. Yeah, there were. Yeah, I mean, it was interesting, but part of the thing also was like, if you kind of look at my game history too, like at that time, I didn't work on anything that had any guns in it. So I really want to work on something with guns in it, because we had, like I said, a lot of ideas for sci-fi type of stuff.
But you're from Wisconsin, right?
Yeah.
Well, of course, the guns. But it's Skip. You don't have a mic. You didn't bring a mic today. You can't talk.
Yeah, there's like nothing to do there but drink and shoot guns and eat cheese, pretty much.
And root for the Pack.
The Pack, go Pack.
All right, so now you guys got it down to the end, and we've played it a bunch. Luke's played it, and he was like most concerned. So I'm gonna let Luke like shoot some of his concerns about the game at you.
Yeah,
sure.
Well, I played the E3 build, and Garnet and I had like a little on-air dispute about it, because he'd played it earlier and really liked it, and I was really disappointed with the control scheme at the E3 build, and it was something I was really concerned with. It seemed more like a sensitivity and a tuning thing, and that there was no real dead space in the controller. So has that sort of stuff been addressed as we get near final? Like, I haven't got to play the new build just yet.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's totally been addressed. I mean, you guys or Garnet came and was talking about that, about how the control scheme felt kind of weird at E3, and basically what we did is we kind of experimented with some stuff and tried some things that were a little bit different, but kind of when it boils down to it, you basically just need to emulate Halo 2, because, I mean, it's a great control scheme, it works well. Why not just, basically take that whole scheme and then kind of map the other stuff that we have, like Spirit Walking, on top of it. So it's been tweaked. I mean, you played it yesterday, so.
Oh yeah, no, that's why I came back. So I came back and I told Luke, I'm like, dude, they got that part right. They got it fixed. I liked what you did with the. So I talked about this in the preview that went up, I guess, Thursday. Trying to think, like, it's hard when you're on radio. You're like, when's this going to go up? Oh yeah, so it went up on Thursday. I talked about like how you were talking about how you did the snap to the skeletal animation. I really liked that. Mm-hmm. How did you guys, when you were looking at like sticky aim for 360? We're talking about the 360 version right now. How do you determine like how much aim assist to give?
Well, actually, a lot of that stuff was actually done by Venom. So when they were kind of working on it, we basically said we need the aim assist and we want it to kind of work like this. And they came back with a version where like, oh, this is good, but it needs to be tweaked a little bit more. It was basically a little bit too generous, where you'd be shooting at a guy and you'd be kind of a little bit to the left or something like that, and it was snapping to him too much. So then they started experimenting with different things, and actually the idea for the bone-based stuff. So if you like shoot a guy near his head, it'll go to his head bone. If you shoot him near his shoulder, go to his shoulder bone. That was actually their idea, so they started messing with it. And then basically the thing that we did on top of that was just kind of tune, given weapons, like say like the sniper rifle doesn't snap as much, so you have to be a little bit more accurate with it. Or the grenades, they obviously shouldn't, track towards a creature or anything like that. It should be just wherever you throw it.
You don't want homing grenades? Come on.
Actually, maybe in Prey 2, if we do Prey 2.
So what's it like developing a game that you guys invested so much in, but feeling like, I mean, there has to be some kind of feeling of detached. Venom's all the way over in the UK. You guys are developing the game here in the States, but then you're reliant on them. Is that hard? Is it hard to let your baby, over to them?
It was a little bit difficult at first. I mean, we kind of looked at different teams to do the 360 version, but Venom kind of stood out as they didn't have a lot of 360 experience, but they had a lot of console experience. So they pretty much dove in, and I'm really happy with the job that they did. I think they did really good with it.
There's got to be a lot of back and forth on a day-to-day basis, though, right? I mean,
totally, yeah.
How do you do that?
There's a little bit of the time difference. So when you get in the morning, you've got a ton of emails from them from the evening before, and basically just is like you just have to deal with that day of delay where you get something, you have to send something off to them, and then it's going to be another day before they get back to you. So a little bit of slow going at times, and a little bit hectic kind of as we're kind of near the end of the project. So when we're trying to get like a new build from them, and actually another big thing that actually has been really useful is they don't have to send us like a full build every time. They can just send us like a little patch.
Oh, that's cool.
So we don't have to sit and download, a 4 gig download every time in order to be able to check out the 360 version.
Makes sense. So do you guys actually get any time to play games anymore?
We're getting more to be able to play games. Yeah, there was a time there. I mean, I've got a huge stack of stuff. Like some games I didn't even want to touch until, like Oblivion, didn't want to touch that until I was done with Prey.
What else is on the Chris when I get a vacation list?
Well, man, I've got a huge stack of books.
Oh God, really?
Yeah, well,
Jesus Christ! It's a video game show, man.
Don't make me leap over there. I've got to catch up on all of your podcasts.
There you go.
I don't know. That might not be worth the effort either.
You can actually, if you do that while reading, you'll fall asleep.
So we bribed you by getting you in here on the Guitar Hero. That was actually the bribe to pull Chris in, was to play some Guitar Hero. What'd you think of Guitar Hero 2? Did you have some fun with
Fantastic. I really can't wait for it.
Is that what you guys play around the office too?
Yeah. Oh, totally.
You also play some Sin, right?
We did check it out. Yeah.
Okay, so Sin does dynamic difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
You guys do dynamic difficulty.
Yep.
We were talking about that yesterday, how different the two are. So I thought that was pretty cool. Tell us, let's go back into that some.
Sure. Well, honestly, I really can't comment too much on their system. I haven't looked. You were talking about their debug stuff and all that, which sounds kind of cool, and I definitely want to check that out. But kind of the main thing is our dynamic difficulty. We just we structured it to be really
so hold on a
simple.
second. Tom Mustaine, he probably listening because hang out or whatever. So Tom, hook Chris up with like a debug build and let him see what you guys are doing.
Yeah, that sounds cool. But yeah, basically, I mean, our system we just designed to be really, really ultra simple. I mean, because we want to just have it be a really kind of general system that would just be a really basic thing that would just kind of work generically across the game. Whereas it sounds like they've got a lot of like little areas where they can tweak certain little things, which sounds pretty interesting. So I would kind of like to talk to them and kind of compare notes as to what we did.
It's cool because you're on different ends of the spectrum. Like one of the things we were talking about is you don't have a thing at the beginning where the person selects difficulty.
Correct.
Because that lets you stay in control of the pacing. So when you were talking about pacing, what was important to you, like in Pacing Prey? How did you want the game? What kind of experience do you want the people to have when they're playing it?
Well, kind of depending upon the person. I mean, we want some people to it to be a little bit more tense for them if they're like a better player. But obviously, if they're an easier player, we want it to be a little bit easier for them. And kind of in the global scheme of things, I think it's more important for more people to actually play through and finish the game. So I would almost think that the game might be tuned a little bit easier than kind of the average game, because I think it's more important for people to play through the entire experience.
Right. So this is the game you don't die in. You know you don't die in this game?
No.
Yeah, you don't die in this game.
What happens?
Well, actually, we decided to kind of get rid of the whole save crawl thing. So when you die, you go to this realm that we call Deathwalk. You got a little mini game you play that takes like 15 seconds or so. Play that, and actually, essentially, what you do is you're like shooting these particular creatures. Depending upon which type you shoot, you'll get more health, you get more spirit, and that's actually how much health and spirit you have when you return, and it pops you right back right where you died. So it's actually been interesting from a design standpoint, because since we know that the player doesn't die and they always return, we always have to have certain things, like they always have to have ammo, because we've got certain shoot switches and stuff that you have to shoot. Whereas in a conventional game, if you die, people are going to reload, so you can kind of guarantee that they just kind of reload a save. So we had to deal with that. We had to deal with like death pits, because when you come back from Deathwalk, you can't just come back at the bottom of the pits. We've got like resurrection zones where you come back. Other things like in boss battles, because you can also die in a boss battle and then come back. We decided to put the player kind of in a safe spot, so they kind of get stuck kind of in the corner or something like that. So it's not like they come right back in front of the boss and the boss smacks you back down.
All right.
That's interesting. That's really interesting.
It's really cool. It's going to be a tough thing to balance. I mean, that's like one of my big concerns, is that is it going to be too easy, or is it going to feel like the game's being stretched, or is it going to actually work? I mean, I'm with you on the whole idea of I don't want to be pissed off and throwing my controller across the room. I'm totally down with that.
I want you to be like that.
Thanks.
I like that.
He sits outside my office. You don't sit outside my office. You'd be like, screw it, I don't care.
I like to hear
Skip
it, though.
got hit in the head. Oh, damn.
Yeah, Skip down. Send help.
Yeah. Well, he sits outside Milky's office, and Milky's been known to hurl a controller or three.
I think I'm queen of the hissy fits. Of
You are queen of the hissy fits.
Definitely.
Do you have a queen of hissy fits around your office?
Without naming names, I know one guy. He likes to break controllers.
Yeah.
There was one time where it was like, I don't remember what game we were playing, but it was like Super Street Fighter or something like that. He was so mad. And he got so mad at the controller, he's like, I'm breaking this controller. And so he's like, bashing on the controller, and he couldn't break it. So he got more and more mad, and finally he just started bashing it until finally it broke. But it was so funny because he's like initially mad, and then like, when the thing wouldn't break.
That's awesome.
That only makes you angrier when you're trying to break something, and that's something I deal with a lot every day, really.
Yeah.
And you can't break it.
You break our system a lot. So you guys are done. Are you guys going to be playing Prey afterwards?
Certainly, yeah.
All right,
definitely.
So how are we going to find you online? Are we going to be able to find you online? You going to be on 360? You guys going to be on PC? You going to be on both?
Totally, yeah. I think mainly we'll probably be on PC. We're a little bit more kind of PC-centric. But
hold on, we're being talked to by the PR folks there. Oh, ask him about the demo. There's a demo?
The demo is out now.
Oh, my gosh, except on Xbox Live.
Yeah. And now we're getting just frantically. We'll probably talk about it later in the news segment.
No, actually, so it's funny. I mean, I had to say something is because I totally gave you all props. This is what's cool about a PC
that's the relationship
developer.
I want with PR.
This is what's cool about a PC developer getting into console games is you guys know how to do demos right. Your demo on Live has multiplayer in it, which is awesome. And like I was asking you about it yesterday, you're like, well, dude, if the game's good enough to sell, people are going to love it because it's great, not because we held stuff back. So propers to you for that. That's awesome.
Yeah, the only thing that I'm kind of disappointed about the 360 demo is Microsoft rule is that you can't have save games in a demo.
Really?
And our demo is like, we wanted a big demo for people, so it's like 5 single-player levels. And so, I mean, it's like an hour, hour playtime for the average person, maybe 2 hours for some people.
Dude, so how much did you put in this demo?
That's probably maybe 20% of the game.
Wow.
It's a good chunk.
So that's awesome. So it's 5 levels.
5 levels, yeah. Well, the 2 mandates that we had were 3D Realms always wants to start demos from the beginning. So when we were working on the game, like the whole time we're working on it, we always kept in mind the demo was going to be from the beginning to a certain point. And then we also wanted the demo to go up until Tommy gets his spirit powers.
Right.
And that's, around like level 4 is actually when he gets his spirit powers first. So we had to have that level included, of course. And then we had to have the level after that when you get to actually kind of use your powers. So next thing you know, we've got like a big demo.
Well, I think it's awesome that you guys have the confidence in what you're putting out there to like put out enough that people will be able to play it, and that they'll come back and play the rest of it because they'll want to play it. I mean, that's what 3D Realms pioneered with shareware, though. I mean, that's how they always did it. Give away a third and then get people to come buy the other 2/3.
Totally. And from, the demo just came out, so I've been reading some online response, and so far it's been really, really positive.
Yeah, were you checking out the responses?
I just checked it out really quick this morning. I was at Shack News. I was at Evil Avatar.
Oh, no, not Evil Avatar.
Oh, boy. That's it. End the show.
If those trolls
I'm
like
done.
you're in good shape.
They do like it, actually.
Really?
They do. It's been
saying?
pretty positive.
What were they saying?
My favorite quote by far was one from Shack News, and I'm going to kind of paraphrase. I don't remember it like word for word, but basically someone said, what was it? Basically, like I kneel before Human Head, our new overlords of first-person shooters.
Wow. That's pretty freaking awesome.
Or I accept Human Head, our new overlord of first-person shooters. Yeah.
So does that mean you're the top of the overlords?
One of the top overlords, apparently. Yeah.
Can you have a top over? Like, can you have a series of overlords?
The overlord?
Yeah, it seems like an overlord kind of would be a singular.
Hey, look, we're not technical about it. You want to be an extra overlord? Be extra overlord.
Maybe I'll put that on my business cards now. Overlord.
Reinhardt, overlord of the first person shooter genre. Just ask Shack News, right?
Yes, exactly.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, I don't know. Have you guys thought at all about what's next?
We definitely have thought about what's next.
Okay, so any hints you guys have done? So now you've done Norse mythology, you've done Native American mythology. Obviously, you guys are into like the spirituality and like something more interesting than the White Wall.
What about the Siddhartha game?
What's that?
The what? You know the book? No, it's this Buddhist book. The room is quiet.
What type of game would you do? What do you think?
I have no idea. You guys are the developers.
Oh! He throws out an idea and he's got nothing back for it.
Yeah, I just figured, maybe some Buddhism would be cool.
Like the end result is enlightenment in some way? Or something?
That'd be awesome. No guns, just peace.
Maybe something like wait, no, that's not Buddhism. I was gonna say reincarnation, but that might be interesting in a game. There you go. That ties into Deathwalk. That would be cool.
There you go.
So the point of the game is to die.
Wow, that would be pretty creepy. So obviously, if Prey does well, you guys will be looking at expansion packs and sequels. But just throw a couple of things that maybe have hit the wall, like when you guys were Skyball and stuff.
Oh man, well, we kind of want to go back to Daikatana 2.
Whoa!
So, did you know that we were working on that actually?
No.
We were working on Daikatana 2 when we first started Human Head. We're really good friends with John Romero, and I like the guy. He's a really cool guy. And when we first left Raven, John was still working on Daikatana 1 at the time. And so we left. We were talking about working with him on something, and then he mentioned we could do Daikatana 2. We're like, sounds great. So we actually started development actually in Unreal. We still have concept art and stuff like that from Daikatana 2. I should scan it in and send it to you.
Dude, send that to me. I will so get off of that. That's awesome. Okay, not only do you have the balls to go after Prey, but you did Daikatana 2. Wow.
Yeah.
These guys are fearless. Totally fearless.
Yeah, we're like, bring it on. So same type of thing though. I mean, it who knows? Maybe Daikatana 2 would have been similar to how Prey turned out.
Okay,
a lot of ideas there.
Any other original stuff bouncing around out there?
Yeah, we definitely have a bunch of original ideas that we're kind of working on. I got to be kind of cagey about it,
Kind of cagey. Jesus, I got to not answer your question.
To be honest, we're working on a Buddhist game right now.
Well played, Chris. Well played. Well played.
All right.
Well, I mean, there's the big possibility for Prey 2.
Of course.
But of course, it looks like Prey is doing well, so we're going to have to talk to 2K because apparently Human Head's price is going to start going up.
Oh.
I can relate.
Oh. Marcy's all like, what the hell? Like, dinner last night wasn't enough? God, I blew your budget already.
No, that dinner was fantastic. I mean, like really classy meals. Then we all have a Pabst Blue Ribbon sitting in front of us.
That was fantastic.
That was great.
You know what you guys should look into getting, though? When Prey does do really well, you should look into getting what these other developers have at their office. Like, they have someone who hangs out, and it's their job to make sure everyone's happy. I'm serious. I'm not joking. It's like someone at the studio, their job is to, like, go around and make sure, like, you're having a good day. And, like, if you need something to make your day better, like a massage, they just set it up for you.
You volunteering?
No, I'm not doing that stuff. I don't rub other dudes. God. But
At least not without pay.
Make sure when you guys hit it big that you get one of those, like happiness coordinator or something.
That's a good idea. I like that. Huh.
All right, I think that's a pretty awesome place to leave it at. Who wouldn't want to leave it on a happiness coordinator, right?
I gave you a happy note to go out on.
That is awesome. Hey, dude, enjoy the rest of showing Prey off to the press while you're here. Hope people out there are enjoying the demos. You can get it at Filefront, which we have a link to off of oneup.com. And, you know, hey, if you want to come over to the boards and give us some feedback, Chris we'll send it to Chris if he doesn't come and check it out himself.
Sounds good. I'll definitely jump on the boards. I'll check this stuff out. That'd be great.
All right. Thanks, guys. And we'll be out and back after this break.
Want to know what's new now? Then join Jim Louderback and Patrick Norton as they tackle the latest technology news. They'll keep you informed with their weekly What's New Now podcast. Just go to what'snewnow.com and subscribe, or subscribe through iTunes.
Hello, and welcome to the OneUp Radio Network. If you know the name of the podcast you'd like to hear, press 1 now. You have selected Radio PM, starring the editors of the official U.S. PlayStation magazine. To download an episode at radiopm.oneup.com, press 1 now. To listen to a promo, press 2 now. In a world ripped apart by war, only one magazine.
You're listening to One Up Yours, part of the One Up Radio Network.
All right, we're back, and I hope you enjoyed the Prey segment. Now we've got some news cooking. We've got so much to talk about this week, so I'm going to give it right over to Luke and let him grab it and go.
Sony. Grand Theft Auto? We don't need Grand Theft Auto.
Sounds like you.
We're Sony.
That does sound like him, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It sounds like me mixed with Sony. And that's what Jack Tretton said to the street this week, essentially.
What's he supposed to say?
Well, I mean, yeah, what's he supposed to say? Like, he basically diminishes the importance in the story. He diminishes the importance of third-party support for PS3 by saying there's no question that having the Grand Theft Auto franchise helped us a lot and helped us sell some units, but I don't think the battle would be any different with or without Grand Theft Auto. If you look at our first-party library and the franchises that we've brought to market over the course of PS2, we have a very formidable first-party library of exclusive software that'll help us. The days of locking up exclusive content from a third party and having that be key to your strategy is a really dangerous road to go down, because I think with the cost of development, not that many developers can afford to do exclusivity.
Dude, he's so full of shit. Like, hello, Madden.
Isn't sort of the story of Sony development, though, like biting the hands that feed you?
Isn't this the company that killed the Dreamcast by making sure that EA Sports didn't deliver a Madden on Dreamcast ever?
I think he's insane on this.
What the hell?
Like GTA, I mean, it sold, whatever you believe. It was millions. And when you have a game that sells millions, it's selling hardware.
Absolutely.
And to say that it's not important this time round, and that Heavenly Sword and Resistance and Warhawk are going to do the job for you, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but he is correct when he's, trumpeting Sony's first party. Sony has an excellent first party with several, like probably 10 million selling franchises.
You're right,
where Microsoft has one.
That 989 Sports is pretty
so
awesome.
we all want to be Nintendo now?
Well, the thing,
when you can make as much money as Nintendo with your first party, maybe we do all want to be Nintendo now.
Right, but you don't sell as many units. I mean, with your main console, maybe with your handheld, but with a game that costs $10-20 million.
Why are you guys dismissing sports? You're like totally ignoring sports.
We're not dismissing sports, but in this case, this is like it's saying that one of the biggest franchises in the world is not a player.
I mean, he could have said, like, that's their decision, no comment. But, I mean, I think he kind of had to take the company line and spin it the way he did. I mean, obviously, he's wrong. Like, GTA is a big deal. It was a system seller, and now it won't be anymore for them.
Why do you think he needed to say that? Why do you think he needed to come out and say something silly rather than just be keeping it real?
I mean, all of his responses in this interview were
because he wouldn't be a Sony executive. He didn't say something amazing.
Sony executives are God's gift to people that run websites now. Thank you very much, Sony. Could you say something crazy on a Friday from now on, because we want to push traffic through the weekend?
Yeah, he was very unchecked in his comments. He made other comments about Microsoft and.
Well, it gets even, excuse me, it gets even better this week from Sony with the Phil Harrison stuff that Patrick wrote up, talking about Sony, how Sony would use the hard drive. And this is an example he presented in an interview.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was.
You were hoping we weren't going to do this.
There are a bunch of people at Sony right now who must be sitting around going, you know what? How do we stop like stuff like this from happening? Isn't that somebody's job to maybe rein these guys in?
Don't they have handlers
and PR people that should maybe stop them saying dumb shit every 3 days?
Well, we should. This is the dumb shit that they said this week. Well, I'll give you an example. The producer of Gran Turismo would kill me for this. Imagine Gran Turismo shipping on a disc with one car and one track. And then you can browse online, a dynamic circuit of vehicles that's growing every day because either the car manufacturers are adding new vehicles or we're adding new vehicles. And you can see a specific type car that's being called up and say, I think I'll play with that one. Let me download and play it.
You know what I want?
What?
I see where he's going with it.
He doesn't say you're going to spend money on it.
I know exactly where he's going. You know how World of Warcraft has that counter that tells you how many days you've been online? The PS3 is going to have a counter that tells you how much freaking money you've spent into their stupid online payment system.
If Gran Turismo 4 is a very, very cheap core product and everything then is micropayments, fine.
Right.
Then, the game is... But it's not going to work like that because they're never going to give you a product on a DVD or a Blu-ray disc for that matter.
I hope he was just pulling that out of his ass because that's pretty dumb to ship with one car. I don't think that would actually help.
No. Look, I'm going to go back to what I saw at that PS3 conference at E3, which was Warhawk with money for weapons and basic fundamental pieces of the game.
He learned it from watching more or Oblivion.
Well, the thing is, this.
No, you don't buy swords in Oblivion.
The Maroon's Razor is the most recent thing. You do get a weapon at the end.
But you
of
do
it.
buy an experience that leads to the weapon. I mean, you're not dropping $3 on a weapon.
I mean, like, if you don't think that buying weapons is going to afflict Xbox Live as well, I mean, it's coming. Like, it's coming.
Right.
That's
but the way for it to
pisses me off.
The way for it to be palatable, though, is if you're going to do like something that is predominant. We get back into the microtransaction argument again.
It's going to get worse.
It's going to get worse in a minute.
Worse.
But you can't charge a bunch for the product and then charge a bunch for all the bits that make the product work. You've got to do one or the other. And there is some stuff that is in development right now that will get announced over the summer, I think, where I think we're going to start seeing some experiences on PC where they're going to give you the core game and then start adding to it. Because that's the only way for this to work.
I'm starting to hate microtransactions in general.
Dude, they're not. They're like philosophically. They're micro ratements now. They're not micro payments, man. It's like something new like this week. This rumor circulated, and the rumor came out a Game Informer interview with Mizuguchi. So I'm using rumor very loosely. Like, it sounds pretty real. That he said that the Tetris, not Tetris. Oh, sorry.
Oh, my God.
Oh, sorry. Slip.
One of yours announces Tetris for not happening.
That Lumina's, when it comes to Xbox Live later this summer, it's going to be $15 for like single player challenge mode. Mm-hmm. But then, like, to unlock the versus part of the Xbox Live game, you got to buy more.
Now, are you going to have to pay for additional music? Because I kind of understand that element that's been circulating. Because it's not just downloading music. You're downloading music with interactive elements that does require development.
Sure.
But to play it against somebody else?
For us to play Luminez against each other, we're going to probably both spend another $5 or $10.
Well, in the music, I mean, they showed the Madonna video, and I imagine that would cost at least like $1. I mean, that's Madonna; she gets some money out of that.
Right. I mean, like, if you download the Madonna video on iTunes, it's $1.99, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, for music videos, it's like.
So if it's $2 a song plus it has
interactive stuff that I could, but added functionality. I mean, what they're doing is
they're making it cost what it costs on the PSP.
Right. You add it all together, and it's the full price game.
And great, thank you for the deals and the savings, dicks.
Yeah.
No, it's not. That's like we're not.
Milky's flying out to Japan to see Mizuguchi next week. We'll pass the message along.
Speaking of micro rapements, what about Graw, dude?
That's what we're getting to. Like Graw today, or yesterday, the announcement about the Graw pack coming out that has 8 revisited and relit multiplayer maps, which
I love
means
that them being relit is a big deal.
That light bulb's worth like $3.
5 new guns, 4 new character customization faces. In case you weren't happy,
Just the faces?
Yeah, 2 new camo patterns.
Ooh, sweet.
2 all new game types with 1 all new game mode. That's Team Battle. Okay.
Wow. Has anyone ever done Team Battle before? That's pretty radical.
And a continuation of the multiplayer co-op campaign with 4 all new missions in Chapter 2.
Okay, that's cool.
Okay, that's the heart. That sort of is the heart of what they're getting at.
So is that 4 all new?
So wait. Let's play the late night television show. John, how much would you pay for that package?
$5.95.
Yeah, I think $5-6.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah, you're going to be paying $15.
No, I'm not.
You just blew $65 on Graw. No, $75.
John, what else are you going to play on Xbox 360?
Oh, I might play the Prey demo, which is free.
You're right.
The 5-map Prey demo.
I'm afraid that's not available yet.
5 levels and 2 multiplayer maps.
But the thing is, like, the microtransaction thing is it's getting really out of hand. Like, and I was talking with a friend of mine at Microsoft today, and I was like, dude, I'm about to write in my blog how you guys are fucking shit up over there. Like, you are ruining Xbox Live. You're turning it into a commercial whorehouse, and it's awful. And he's like, but we don't dictate the prices of the stuff the third parties do. Like, then you motherfuckers need to get off your asses and say, this is bullshit. You're fucking people over. Like, you are boning people, and you're going to alienate them to our service and our product.
What's worse is they're setting a really terrible precedent for Sony and Nintendo. They're like, oh, we can charge God knows how much for our shit.
We can rape these idiots. It's over.
So let's say, for an extension of the co-op campaign, which is 4 maps, so it's only in co-op mode. So it's only live
all new
gameplay.
Maps, or are those new levels in existing
all
maps?
All new maps,
all
right?
New maps.
And some real some reimagined versions of existing
It's like
maps.
at night or at dusk or something, right?
So for the PC, an expansion pack is typically $20-$25, right? For something.
Oh, actually, how much is the add-on for Graw going to be skipped?
It's free.
The Graw add-on is free. 3 new maps for PC.
And a map editor, right? That's pretty cool.
That's a double standard.
I can create my own maps, huh? What the hell? This is horse shit.
So, not very consistent.
Where will you be playing Graw? Not on my 360. I'll be playing it on the PC if I want to, because there's added functionality and awesome for free. As opposed to this bullshit pricing scheme that we're going to continue to see more of. And, like, it's going to get even worse than this. This is just the tip of the iceberg of crap.
Are those Perfect Dark Zero maps free that are out now, or do those cost money too?
No, they cost money.
No, they're on Xbox Live. They cost money.
So here's the deal. It's like they went into the candy store, got a bite, and they're like, oh, man, this shit tastes good. Let's grab the whole freaking bowl at once.
And let's grab it when we don't have awesome games.
Yeah.
So that we can piss people off before awesome games come out.
Like, if it wasn't a download, that 360 pack, it wouldn't be. It's not enough for them to put out as a retail pack. So it is a halfway measure. Presumably, we'll get another one.
Yeah, this is chapter 2 of,
which implies there's a chapter 3 coming.
Like, Ghost Recon
too many trips to the well.
Ghost Recon is not a game that I want to end up paying $90 for to have it be complete. It's just not. You know what? It's not a Halo. It's not a Ninja Gaiden. It's not. This is a dangerous precedent that games that are little more than, above average games with people wearing launch goggles they're being exploited because of it. And Microsoft, as an entity who wants to continue to contribute in this console and in the console war and do something productive, needs to put their foot down now before it gets out of control.
They do, because we don't want it to get screwed up, because what's going to hurt is it's going to hurt people doing, like, I'm sitting here looking at the guitars for Guitar Hero and thinking, you know what, they could screw it up for these guys, because that's where it could be cool, is to be able to go and buy songs that you wanted to that are worth something for a reasonable amount. But if these guys have ruined it by charging too much, by pissing people off, by under-delivering, no one's going to give a shit.
They need to set some guidelines for the pricing, because it is clearly all over the place. And, going back to Bethesda, who we always return to, by their own admission, they've been experimenting with the pricing. And just the Oblivion downloads are inconsistent. You get a little bit of content for a lot of money, or a lot of content for a lot of money, and we'll see what people can stomach. Microsoft needs to say, okay, this price point needs to be at least this much stuff. And then if you want to charge $10, it's got to be substantially more. Because when you do have 20% of Prey coming down the pipe for free at the same time, it makes it even more difficult for them to justify.
I feel sorry for Xbox 360 people and fans because they're being exploited and they're being treated like guinea pigs. And first of all, 9 months and no first party titles, inexcusable. And then it's stuff on the third parties to carry this system. And now they're screwing people with this crazy pricing on the downloadable content. It isn't I feel sorry for Xbox 360 fans.
I think it's going to extend. I think it's going to extend way further than that. I think that it's going to extend to in 5 months. It's going to be. I feel sorry for gamers because I think that Sony is going to.
It's a dangerous trend.
Sony's going to do the same thing, and I'm hoping that
Sony will totally.
I'm hoping that Nintendo will be sort of a ray of light.
Iwata talked about the pricing, and it sounded like $5 to $10 for games, and that's a lot better than $15 for 4 maps.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely.
So what's going to happen? I mean, imagine how we're going to get reamed on Halo under this model. The stuff that we did get for Halo through Live for Halo 2. And the number of opportunities there have been to add to Halo.
Bungie were kind of cool about it, though. Maybe they'll be cool about it this time.
I don't think so. My buddy who works down at Retro, who I know is listening because they actually share the podcast around there. They
apparently EA in Vancouver, they listen to it up there.
Had this big argument.
How you doing?
Had this big argument with him because they've been talking about episodic content, and he was actually theorizing about how awesome it would be with Halo to come out, and it's perfectly suited to the episodic format. Oh.
$20 for every level of Halo.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
Yeah, how would you like about the $20 for the library?
That'll be that more than the end of Halo 3 when Master Chief's gonna die. That will be the death of Halo to me.
Oh, we finally got it out.
I can't even imagine if
it's like a little tear in his eye.
You'd kill yourself, right?
No, I will. It'll be a TV show. It'll be a program.
Should we explain our theory, seeing as we've started?
No,
it'll be at ABC after the special.
We have this theory.
John.
It's entirely we have absolutely no knowledge of this, but this is speculation over lunch a few weeks ago that we think that because we know pretty much for certain now that Halo 3 is the very end of the story, right? And anything that happens beyond this point is going to be filling in the gaps in the timeline between the novels and anything else that comes along. And
that's what we're being led to believe.
That's what we're being led to believe. So the end of Halo 3 is the end of the story. So the theory is end of Halo, Master Chief dies. And the way that this happens is not through a battle, but where we think that they're going to put you as the player into the character of the Arbiter.
And make you kill him.
And make you kill Master Chief. And he's not going to fight back because it's going to be linked in with Cortana and everything melting down. And the fate of the universe and everything is all down to making sure that Cortana no longer exists in Master Chief's head. So you're just going to have to stand there, and when you're ready, blow his head off.
Garnett, that must make you really sad because he's such a well-realized character.
Yeah, Mario is really fucking multi-dimensional, too. Dick. God. There's a simpler controller en route for the Xbox 360, maybe.
Moving on to another news item.
That's not reactionary at all.
You know what's sad is the most popular shooters, it's just kind of like a quick take on Western shooters. The most popular Western shooters have the worst freaking characters. Gordon Freeman, I'll say it right now, Gordon Freeman, empty freaking sock.
But that's intentional.
I was going to say, this is a design choice,
Gordon Freeman is so smart because he's a nerd, but he saves the world, and every nerd wants to save the world.
And it's you you are a nerd.
Because you are a nerd.
I got bad news for you. It worked until they started adding Alex, and Alex has all his personality, and you want to interact with her, but now you're like, oh shit, I'm Gordon Freeman. I agree. I'm like a freaking mute.
So do you think that now they should have done what they did with Grand Theft Auto and give Gordon, because in GTA after 3 they started giving the main character a voice and a personality. You think Gordon needs to be?
I think that's why San Andreas was the most, and Vice City San Andreas, because there was more character.
So
you relate to it,
right?
You know?
Yeah, you can't.
I think this idea of you are the character, if you're not given the option to interact the way that Mass Effect is going to let you, then it needs to be surrogate, right?
Yeah, exactly. And what's wrong with having a story where you're actually enjoying the characters in a story? I read books and watch movies and do those things to enjoy good stories. I thought it was hilarious
that Sean Elliott, who is 6 foot something of guy, was disappointed that there wasn't a hug button in episode 1.
Yeah, dude, that's because I'm telling you, Alex looks at it and you're like, I'd hit that.
And when I don't think that's the type of hug.
And when she's leaning against the wall and she's all upset and she puts her hand on the glass and it's so
fantastic.
Sad. Do you want to go and just give her a big hug?
Awesome. It
just want to go put her on all fours.
I don't think Gordon Freeman know what to do.
Probably not.
He's 100% nerd.
With all the recycled crap from Half-Life 2 that they put in that game, Alex totally saves that game.
Yeah.
What else?
Anyway, controller.
Well, whatever. Alleged. Peter Moore was talking on Gamertag Radio, and he was like, shoulder buttons, triggers, analog sticks. I mean,
let me. Can I rephrase that for you? We're the only system that doesn't have a new control scheme. You better get on that. let's play catch up. Let's splinter our market further into several different segments where you have to buy several different pieces to get what everybody else has.
Maybe you can get that control with the mind thing.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be awesome.
But I don't think they need to dick around with a new controller.
They'll just splinter the market, splinter your market further, segments. Nobody has everything. Bad idea.
Yeah, newsflash: the flying PS3 controller, not so fucking great.
No, it's a great idea.
Newsflash.
It's a great idea, Garnett. You're wrong. You are completely wrong. You are infinitely wrong.
Wow.
All right.
Yes.
We'll have to answer that question in a couple of months when you're like going, God damn, I can't control this Warhawk game. This shit sucks.
I hate it when people give me extra features. I wish they would take them all away.
Yeah, dude. I wish that my controller rumbled. I'm Sony. I mean, dude, I wish they'd give me extra features. Fuck yourself. They're like taking away the core feature of controllers.
There was a lawsuit.
Vibrating.
There's a lawsuit involved there.
Yeah, dude, the one that Sony owes $91 million.
Yeah, because you love Rumble so much and can't play a game without your motherfucking Rumble.
You're gonna watch. You'll miss.
Because I'd rather be doing like these jazzercise exercises playing Warhawk.
I mean, dude,
honey, what are you doing with that controller?
The video.
Oh, I'm playing Warhawk.
It was friggin' retarded.
I will be proven correct.
I bet you that when you tilt your controller in Metal Gear, it'll cock Snake's head or something. It'll be like a nod function.
When you got in a year's time, and you all said, "Yeah, you're right. I can't wait for it."
God,
don't hold your breath.
Bookmark this one. We'll be back in a year. We'll be back. Hey, so I want to talk more about Sony because their first-party Blu-ray player has been delayed to late October. Sony's okay. They told me today. They're like
911, quick, 911.
Okay, I sent you this story.
Yeah, you did. Thank you.
I sent you a story, and I said, "Don't worry, it's okay because Samsung's player already on the market, and Sony needs to save their Blu-ray drives for PS3. It makes sense."
He has a very good point.
It's a good point.
No, yeah, absolutely. I said in the thing that it probably wasn't like a we can't get this to work thing.
No, let me ask
player
Shane.
Is out.
Let me ask Shane the same question I asked Luke. Or Shane.
What?
Wow.
Don't make that mistake again.
Seriously.
$600 for the top PS3.
Yep.
$1,000 for a standalone Blu-ray player.
Yes.
Think there'll be any difference?
Yeah, I think I'll buy the PS3.
Well, are you implying that perhaps the quality has been gimped?
I'm saying that actually
the PS2
$400 gift.
Yeah, I love that your argument is based upon like stupid speculation based in nothing. You know nothing about Blu-ray. Please don't talk to me about this.
Yeah, that's right. $400 is nothing. I'm basing it on nothing. If $400 is nothing, I'll take $400.
Are you about the bit rates? Are you going to tell me the difference in the machine? You know nothing about what you're talking about, Garnet. Don't bring this up if you're not willing to actually talk about it.
Then
no one knows anything about it yet. As far
People
as
do know about it.
I was looking online.
There were reviews of the player that's already out, and comparisons and everything.
Right, I understand that, and you know what? There's no reason to get into it right now because the problem is that the compression schema that was used on the Blu-ray discs is crap, and so it makes it a bad comparison. I'm saying that when this all gets mature, there has to be some difference there. Did you watch DVDs on your PS2 when it came out? The DVD playback sucked.
You know, I never did. Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Sucked.
Yeah, we were
it had bad artifacting.
They later made it a progressive scan DVD player, made it better. They revised
but it. Still was never
I
great.
Remember the interface was kind of sort of sloppy as well, wasn't it?
Let's not judge something we haven't used, Garnet.
I'm not. I asked the question hypothetically.
You hypothetically raised it to cause a stink and cause dispersion upon the PS3 is what you did.
I mean, like
Sony Defense Force is an action.
Sony Defense Force. The SDF are proud people.
What could warrant $400 difference?
If it came with a girl to give me head.
Well, you pay $400 for that?
If you get to keep it.
I'm sure Sony's player will I'm sure Sony's standalone player will probably no longer be $1,000 now that it's coming out October 25th instead of now. It was going to be expensive because early adopters are willing to spend a lot of money. The first CD player was $1,000. I mean, like, things that are out early are always expensive. It's just the way it is.
Right. So suffice to say, my problem with it is that I'm still that big discrepancy makes me skeptical that the Blu-ray player that's in the PS3 will be a top quality Blu-ray player.
Don't fear, Garnet.
Dude, the first generation of Blu-ray players aren't going to be top quality anyway.
Dude, don't worry. Sony's got your back, man. Right? Sony won't screw you.
Yeah.
We love you.
You were doing fine until you got to that end part. By the way,
I like that Shane.
How's that PS1000 you bought?
I like that Shane, executive editor of EGM, a multi-platform magazine, is speaking to you on behalf of Sony right now. That makes me feel really good. That's Electronic Gaming Monthly. Their podcast is available at egmlive.oneup.com.
As long as we're talking about first generation hardware, I really have a problem with that too because I bought a first generation PlayStation.
So did I.
Yeah, it burned up, sucked. I bought a first generation PlayStation 2. A little bit longer lived.
My first gen PS2 is still working.
Yeah, mine too.
I had to replace the entire drive in my PS1.
So hey, if these prices on these things keep ratcheting up, I'm really not interested in buying.
I would suggest an extended service agreement from Electronic Boutique.
That's going to be the one time where they're like, did you want to get this? And you're like, yeah, hit me with that shit, motherfucker.
Seriously, when I used to work at EB, and I would be like, you want this on the PlayStation? This shit is going to be skipping in like 6 months.
So I would like to just to be sort of fair to Sony in upcoming announcements and stuff, it does sound like the motherload of PS3 information is going to be at TGS this year.
Thank God.
I also heard, I like to tell the Sony people something. I heard US launch, some big surprises.
I heard, I'll tell you what I heard this week at a thing with people from companies that are involved.
Was that your support group?
Yeah, no, that the guy I was talking to said that, and he works for Sony. He said that because I was asking him about this whole Assassin's Creed thing, because I'm still fascinated by that game and where it's going. And he said that, well, we're not really talking about it because we're giving the third parties a chance to make their own launch announcements. Mm-hmm. So that was the first time I'd heard Assassin's Creed mentioned with launch. So maybe instead of March 2007, we'll see it later this year.
That would be really cool.
Which is entirely possible because the Prince of Persia team's been working on it for like 3 years. So
that's the point at which all the Sony haters are like, oh, damn.
No, that's the point where they're like, hey, I'm glad because it's coming to Xbox 360 the same day.
Oh. I'm
in timed exclusive?
Nope, it's not.
I'm convinced that sort of come September, there's going to be a lot of stuff where we're like, oh, good, this is kind of what they needed to say a few months ago, but at least they've said it now.
What I've been saying to everyone around the office, all these nervous Nellies, is like, on November 17th, you're going to be like, oh, I was wrong. Everyone's going to be like, I really wish I pre-ordered one. It's awesome. Shane, can I play yours? I'd be like, no, you can't. Garnett.
Oh, you're kind of a prick, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
Kind of? Really? Have you tried to get an airborne out of the guy?
This is news to you? Those are expensive. $8 for airborne. I'm not giving those away. You want me to be sick? I'll lick your mouse.
Man.
I already.
What the fuck?
What? Skip has now handed me the stopwatch of doom and destruction.
He's actually stopped paying attention to the show.
He's like doodling over here. He's like doodling some marginalia.
So are we done? I mean,
I'm done.
I'm kind of done.
I think we're done. We're done except for one thing. We need to give these folks
question of the
week.
One guy said, I don't know if we want to go with this or not. One question that they wished that we'd asked last week was, is there a Lester Bangs in journalism? Is there a writer who is...
Do you want people to talk about Tim Rogers on here? I don't think so.
No, we didn't. I think that was the unmentioned.
All right, this is already boring me. You lost me already. It can't be a good question.
Maybe
you were playing with the watch.
Have we done downloadable content to death already?
Yeah, we
have. All right.
I feel bad.
We've never really pitched it out as a question. Like, I mean, maybe a threshold on price.
Like, what's the most you're willing to pay for?
We did that.
Oh, we did.
I think we did that.
Oh,
this is bad, Skip. We can't remember what the hell we've done.
Maybe Skip has a question.
We have a few beers and we're lost.
Would you like us to talk about games next week? How about that?
All right, so the question this week is this. It's an open thread. We're posting it on the message board because we got to the end of the podcast. We didn't find anything that we wanted to come back to you. So
in a good idea, like what topic, what like interesting gaming related topic have we never discussed that someone wants us to discuss, and the best one we'll talk about? How about that?
I like that idea.
No, that is a good one. It's just like
it could be something obscure, something interesting, something intellectual, something retarded.
Hey, Beige.
I bet Beige is something great.
Beige is already typing. He's like, oh, shit.
So, yeah, there you go. What about the winner of last week's? Are we talking about that?
Winner of last week's FLCL221, which is
Fooly Cooley.
Fooly Cooley. All right.
You're so not with it, Garnett.
Is that women's anatomy or something?
You wouldn't even know.
Oh, okay.
Says you. Whatever. Give me a fucking break.
All right. Anyway, awesome work on the images. And
which one was that? The one with the cool filter? Oh, that looked really nice.
That was the waking light.
Yeah, and when I first saw it, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But then by the end, it looked awesome.
Yeah, it was really well. It got polished up really nice. Yeah.
And the music stuff we're going to handle on the site, right?
We're still listening to them. Skip's played a bunch of them.
Anything inappropriate yet?
No, but we do have quite a few awesome content ones. I mean, like there's one that has this killer bass line. Whose is that? Anyway, there's one that has this insanely cool bass line that's like.
I'd like to hear one. I'd like to hear one in the spirit of the dearly departed Wesley Willis. I don't know if anybody out there can give me that, but I'd like that a lot.
And you know what? I'm surprised no one's really done any live instrumentation. It's all MIDI and stuff. I thought for sure someone out there would pick up a guitar and just shred. You know, we didn't have any shredders. Oh, well.
Maybe they just posted it now.
Oh, yeah.
while we're recording right now.
All right, so we'll have to go check it out.
Go check the internet.
At boards.oneup.com.
This has been an epic,
See what I did
epic
there?
episode.
That's been an epic episode. I'm so glad to be back. This is like the highlight of the week. So, anyway, stopwatch off. We're out, and we'll see you next week.
This has been One Up Yours, a production of the Ziff Davis Game Group and part of the One Up Radio Network. One Up Yours is hosted by Garnet Lee and John Davison, produced by Andrew Pfister and Mike King, and is published every Friday afternoon at podcasts.oneup.com and at the iTunes Music Store.
What's up? I'm not in the fucking credits.